Good morning. Thank you for being here on Center Stage, Nonprofits of Tucson. We look at different opportunities in Tucson to get involved in the community and to support and to help other people. And, sometimes we have something that you've heard a lot about, and sometimes we have something completely new. And I like today because it's going to be a little bit of both. So today we have Deborah Carr, the Director of Marketing and Communications for Reed Park Zoo. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. And you know what? That actually reminds me, I think there was some news. Was there a new arrival of someone at the zoo?
We did. We have a really exciting and significant birth. We have a baby zebra that was born on Christmas Day. She is doing great out in this cold weather, not even bothering her, but we were so excited. And what's really important about that is gray zebras are highly endangered. They are the rarest and most endangered of all the zebra species. There's only about 2,000 of them left in Kenya and African area. And so this is part of a breeding recommendation loan that we have with something called the Species Survival Program. So she's helping to perpetuate her species, and we're so excited, and we are kicking off tomorrow. Watch our website for a naming contest if you'd like to help us name this special little baby.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. And that's a really good kind of introduction into, what we're talking about today. A lot of people have been to Reed Park Zoo and have seen the animals and have walked around, and they know that, it's a really nice place to go and a really great thing for your kids to be able to go and see all these cool animals. But there's so much more to Reed Park Zoo than just walking around and looking at animals. So I'm really excited to hear about everything that you have to share with us today. I think a really good starting point is about the mission of the zoo. So can you share with us about the mission of Reed Park Zoo and some of the programs that are available through the zoo?
Yes. Well, Danielle, how many times are most of us likely to be able to go to Africa or South America or many of these countries and see these animals up close and personal? The zoo is really important because we bring the world to our backyard here in Tucson as an educational center, but also as a committed conservation center. We have about 250 animals at the zoo. And you can see them up close in naturalistic habitats, but we also participate in about 30 species survival programs, and many of the animals that you see at the zoo are rare and endangered. And we also have, in our world today, a lot of our special natural places and habitats and animals are vanishing or in danger of vanishing. So we're trying to prevent that. Our mission, our full mission, is to create inspiring memories for all by connecting people and animals to ensure the protection of wild animals and wild places. Now, that's a mouthful. But really what that means in the short story is that we want people to come to the zoo and to have that connection with the animals. There's something magical that happens when you see an animal up close and you can identify with it. And we also want to tell their story, what's happening in the wild, and how people can really take small steps. We want to inspire them to be conservationists to help protect these animals and make sure that they and the places that they live don't vanish in our lifetime. And that's really, in a nutshell, everything that we do is driven by that mission.
Well, and I think something that is interesting that we kind of take for granted, honestly, here is that when you get to go see these animals, you get to see them in a happy environment and you get to see them play. And I mean, I have been to zoos where that wasn't the case. And so it's really nice to be able to go and to see them running around chasing each other. I think of some of the just the smaller animals that are a lot more energetic and being able to go watch them play.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool experience just to see them happy and moving and doing what they do.
Yeah.
And, it's something that the kids remember and that it really does make an impact. And, a lot of kids, I think, are very interested in learning about animals. They want to know all the different kinds. They want to know, what makes them different. And so to see them up close every single time we go, my kids are so excited, even though we have been a lot. They want to see those same animals again because they're so interested in them. They're not house pets. They are more exotic animals. They're a lot of fun to go learn about. And the zoo also has a lot of educational opportunities for kids to learn about these animals.
We do. In addition to offering free field trips for K through 12 students throughout the community, and we have about 11,000 students that come in every year through those field trips. We do a number of really fun educational programs. And as you were just talking about, when you're much more likely to learn something when you're some kind of hands-on, or if you're seeing a porcupine up close, or a chuckwalla, or kind of really getting to know these animals. And you can see the whole gamut of behavioral displays that go on throughout the year. An animal might, react completely differently in the summer than it does in the fall or the winter. But you can see the animals, and they're very relaxed in the naturalistic habitats. And we also have a very dedicated animal wellness program where we make sure that the animals aren't just living lives, but they're living good lives. They are having enrichment. They have choice and control over their environment and what they choose to interact with, and that they're displaying all of the behaviors that they should be displaying, and that would be similar to those that they would display in the wild. But yeah, education programs, you can do everything from doing our Dr. Zoo, which I think is a real fun one. You can kind of get a feel for what it's like to be a zoo veterinarian for a day. And they get to go into our health center and see, where animals receive their checkups, and how all of that happens, and what they look for, and just envision that as a hopefully maybe future career. Who knows?
I can't remember exactly when it was, but my kids and I went through an event at the zoo where we knew about it ahead of time. So we brought stuffed animals, and they went through and they did the checkups on the stuffed animals, and they loved it. I mean, it was great. And I can't tell you how many times we've done it since then. But I mean, it was something that they remembered and they got a kick out of, and they would continue to then play doctor with their animals. And I mean, it's really cool to see them be so interested in that, and to have them experience something where everyone who's there is about making it such a great experience for all of these kids.
Yeah. Yeah, we really have dedicated educators, and they work to make it not just educational but fun, so that the kids really come away with learning something, whether it's learning what goes into being a zookeeper. And most of the kids are kind of surprised at all the what they have to do in a day, including all of the the offal that they have to scoop that zookeepers have to deal with. But yeah, we just have a variety of those types of programs that talk about animal environments, adaptations, all the things that they need to survive in the wild, and really bringing that home in a fun way for them.
And you mentioned enrichment for the animals. So I did not ask you this question ahead of time, so I don't know if you have the answer for me exactly, but I have heard that if you have a tree cut down, maybe certain kinds of trees, you can bring them in for the elephants for enrichment. Are there specific kinds of trees? How do you do that?
There's a whole list, and I would probably tell you a wrong tree without consulting that list. But you can go on our website at reedparkzoo.org, and we do those trees that you have can become enrichment and something different for the elephants. They love to tear into those trees and that bark, and also we have a number of other animals that also like the tree bark. So if you have a tree that's felled in a storm, or just has come up for some reason, do give us a call and go onto the website. There's a complete list of all the different types of trees and brush that you can bring in, and it becomes usable again for the animals.
And are there any other things that can be brought in for any of the other animals as far as enrichment goes? Is there anything besides the trees and the brush?
Well, we do at least once a year, maybe a couple of times a year, do something called, we have something called the enrichment tree during the holidays that we just did. And that is a list that our zookeepers kind of compile for each animal, and you can pick sort of a tag off of a tree. But we do accept enrichment items, and there again, you can go on our website, but things that it might be a puzzle feeder for a bear, or a big boomer ball for the big cats to play with, or small things that the animals have to kind of work hard to get the food out of, or it becomes something in their habitat, like, a food or enrichment item, play item that they can use their skills and natural behaviors to address and problem solve. And it also gives them some extra exercise and kind of breaks up their day with something new and different in their environment.
And I'm sure that it would be a lot of fun for the kids to be able to help to get something like that for an animal and then to go and see the animal actually playing with it.
Yes,
That
yes.
would be a lot of fun.
We are going to be releasing a video pretty soon of the animals receiving it's kind of an after holidays thing, where they will distribute all the gifts that came in. And we do have a number of people that provide those special things. We have an Amazon wish list that they can utilize. The only thing we kind of don't ask people to bring in are food items, like watermelon. We do a big watermelon Wednesdays in July every year, where they will put out watermelon enrichment for different animals around the zoo, and they each react to it in different ways. Like the elephants crush it, or the otters might float on it and play on it a little bit. But that's because we have very strict dietary standards for the animals, so we want to make sure that they're getting the right quality and the right vegetables. And yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. We will be right back after the break. You are listening to Center Stage. So we are back talking with Deborah Carr from Reed Park Zoo. And we've talked a little bit about the conservation in the mission and why the Reed Park Zoo is so intentional about taking really good care of the animals that are there. And things are changing. Things are, they're moving. What is currently new at the zoo?
Oh, well, in addition to the baby zebra, we also have a new two-toed sloth that came in late August. And this is the animal with the really sweet face that you see in South America. It's native to the rainforest, and they move really super slow, not because they're lazy, but because they have extremely slow digestion. But we have a new sloth that's in our South American habitat, and he's really fun. We also have a little pair of antelopes called blue dikers. That's actually a word for the name means to dive, which they will do in the wild. They're kind of at the bottom of the food chain in the wild, and so they often dive into the underground. But we have a pair that are here on breeding loan. And we also, it's going to be a baby boom, if you will, this spring. We have Simba, who's our female matriarch of the elephant herd, is pregnant, and she's due to deliver sometime, we think, about March, April. And then we also have a giraffe that's due any day now. We all have bets going that's going to be sometime around the middle of February. We're all hoping for a Valentine's baby, since we already had the Christmas baby. And we just opened a new parking lot at the zoo. If you've ever come on a busy day, it can be kind of difficult to find a parking space. But if you go down to High Corbett, it's at the southeast end of High Corbett, but north of the zoo, where the visiting teams tend to come through that gate there. If you go right around the corner there's a big lot, and it has 90 new spaces, including 54 accessible spaces, so you can spread out a little bit. It's just a few steps from the zoo, and the old zoo parking lot is going to be closing in February, and we're going to begin construction on Pathway to Asia, which will be coming in 2026. That's going to add about 4.1 acres to the zoo, and will bring many new species such as red panda, Komodo dragon, Malayan tigers. Will be a breeding facility for Malayan tigers, highly endangered. Little Asian small-clawed otters. There's a big reptile house with boa constrictors and Egyptian fruit bats, and a beautiful aviary where you will be able to feed the birds.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. It's something pretty unique to Tucson, and Asia is so rich in biological diversity, and we're really pleased with what this is going to add to the experience at the zoo, and also just to helping teach people about those animals in Asia.
Well, and oh darn, more babies. So I have to ask, with all the babies coming soon and having lots of new excitement in the spring, are you posting pictures so we all get to see all of these new babies as they're growing slowly? And
We are, and we will be doing periodic updates, kind of milestones in their life as they learn to do different things. And the zebra, for instance, we're going to be posting some more pictures of her as early as tomorrow and some video. But she's just running around. She has plenty of zoomies. I've never seen a zebra run so fast. She's just a bundle of energy and very cute. And usually the elephants, it's fun when you see them learning to use what to do with that trunk. You know, you'd think that they would automatically know what to do with that, but they kind of have to learn what to do with that, or as they begin to get in the water, and all those exciting little milestones that they do. But and you can also go onto the zoo's webcams and just check up on the animals, see what they're doing throughout the day. There's several different webcams that you can look at.
Are those up all the time?
Yeah.
How do we find those? They're just on the website?
Yeah, if you go to our website and you look under animals, I believe, and just look for the webcams,
That's
we
really
have
cool.
people that watch those around the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of fun. I mean, especially when there are babies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have many times gone and wanted to see the new baby, you know, and it's not a good time when I'm there, and so I miss it. And to be able to see some of that on a webcam would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the sloth webcam has been one of our most popular recently because everyone kind of tunes in to see when is the sloth going to move. And there's squeals of excitement around the office a lot when we say, oh my gosh, he's moving. So, yeah.
That's fun.
But yeah, you can see them at different times of the day, which is always kind of interesting because, you know, they might be taking a nap at one time when you tune in, and then 3 hours later they're up and active. So it's a lot of fun.
And then are there specific times that the animals are fed? Because that would also be, you know, a fun time to watch them.
Well, we do have giraffe feedings every day. It's $3, but it's really, you can go out on the platform there and the animals will come up and, you know, get the lettuce or carrots from your hand. And there's nothing like the feeling of that slimy tongue of a giraffe sliding right across your palm. But so there's that. They tend to feed them early in the morning. So coming to the zoo early in the morning is always a good time to see animals, especially birds, up and about and receiving their morning feed. And then others are fed in the evening, or they have different rotating diets and times. But usually early morning or kind of in the later afternoon are always a good bet.
That would be a lot of fun to go watch that. We're definitely going to have to tune in. And with the zebra, you said naming the zebra, there's going to be a contest. I assume with all these other babies coming up, there will be lots of naming opportunities.
Yes. And our keepers have a lot of fun. They usually select three or so names for the public to sort of pick their favorites among those, and they usually have some kind of special meaning.
Yeah. That's really cool. And that's fun to be part of.
Yeah. And all of these births are really significant. They're all 3 endangered species and highly endangered species. We participate in about 30 different species survival programs at the zoo to help maintain genetically viable and healthy populations of these animals. And then we also support field programs around the world that really work with local populations, such as elephants in Tarangire National Forest, to protect their migration corridors so they don't wind up being exposed to poachers or in human encroachment into their fields.
I have to say, thinking through, some of what these specific animals that you guys have, the endangered animals, what they're going through, and how much people are intervening to try to keep them safe and healthy. And, a lot of times when we go to the zoo, we don't really think about all of those things and think about the importance of having the zoo and the importance of specializing in taking care of endangered animals, and how it's not just about going and seeing them. It's also about everything that's behind that. And I think it's so cool just to know how much education, there is in that. And like you mentioned, trying to get the kids excited about it and trying to raise up, a new generation of people who care about these endangered animals, and having us, knowledge is power. The more that we see, the more that we know. Just having access to that it's a really cool thing. But there's also another aspect of the zoo that is really community focused. Can you talk about some of the opportunities and some of the things that the zoo does to help the community, to build up the community, and why it's such an important pillar in our community?
Sure, sure. Well, first of all, we believe that the zoo should be accessible to everyone, regardless of your economic status or your financial ability. So we do have a number of programs that are there to help people be able to come to the zoo. One of those is we talked about the field trips, the free field trips that we offer for K through 12 schools. We also have, if you have an EBIT card or a SNAP program, you're on the SNAP program, you can bring that card and your ID to the zoo, and you would get $4 off admission. You can also go to the public library. We participate in the Culture Pass there, and you can check out a pass that gives you free admission for up to 4 people to come to the zoo. We also do something called social services memberships. So this gives nonprofits in the area that deal with mental health or those social services programs, homelessness, the opportunity to bring, for a nominal fee, they get an annual membership, and they can bring, each time they come, up to 3 staff members and 10 of their clients to enjoy the zoo. And they can use it as many times as they want. We have about 40 different agencies that are currently using that program. And we also offer scholarships for our summer and winter camps. They go really quickly, so as soon as you hear about it, you need to apply if you have a child that's interested in attending those. But that does enable a number of children. We work with the Boys and Girls Clubs on special programs. We do a dollar day every year in November that is done in conjunction with the celebration in Reed Park. And families can come in for $1 all day. We have special military days and discounts throughout the year. First responder days, senior days that we'll be talking about in a minute. But just a number of ways that people can come to the zoo. And we always do also try to keep the admission prices very low. And we are one of the most lowest priced attractions in the region and among zoos especially.
Well, in talking about the pricing, there's also a family membership that I think is absolutely great. That you've got a place that you can go, and the kids like to go. You can go walk around and get a little bit of exercise and, let them run around and play. And there's a great new playground that, again, just has so many opportunities for kids and is very accessible. And I mean, it's just a really nice place to go and let the kids hang out. And, there's so many different aspects of this. And having that membership is, of course, going to support the zoo year round in the conservation efforts and in everything that it's doing. And I think that it's a really cool opportunity, not just to have a place to go with your kids, but also to know that you're helping out in the efforts of the zoo.
Yeah, really. And every time you come to the zoo, you have any interaction at the zoo, the memberships, it also supports not only the care and feeding and well-being of the animals at the zoo, but it also helps support these conservation programs around the world.
Well, thank you so much for all of that. I am really excited. I will post some information on the Center Stage page. So for our listeners, if you're interested in more information, I'll post the website so that you can go find that. If you want to go find it yourself, reedparkzoo.org. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for the I Am Real Estate Show. And a quick thank you to our sponsors, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Win Home Inspection, and Indy Realty.